I didn't think we'd be back here again so soon, so fast. BTC has seen almost $300 million liquidated in the last 24 hours. Looking over here on CoinGlass, we're seeing a massive liquidation here for Sunday, April 6th. It's my Monday, the 7th, but still things are not looking good. This amount of liquidations is on par with what we saw here back on the 24th of February, where we continued to see more volatility for BTC. Looking at the charts, there's a lot to take in right now. And I have some words of comfort, and I also have a lot of words of reality that I'm going to be sharing with you in today's video. But before I do that, my name is Aaron Dishner from The Better Traders, and you're watching Coin Bureau Trading. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so now. I am so excited to share all this content with you in this video, and to help support us, it would be awesome if you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, but share the videos, especially if you find them helpful. Now, we need to be real about Bitcoin. The last line of support for BTC is 76,606 right here. On Sunday, on a very low liquidity weekend, again, gasped, just like we saw back over here on this Sunday. We saw the prices start to absolutely dump. We saw a low liquidity pump on this Sunday, March 2nd. So we have another low liquidity dump. And now we see a lower wick here at about, I have to get it exactly on because I want to say the right number, $77,153. The reality is that if Bitcoin loses this low of 76,606, then the next level that it has to hold, and I shared this in the live stream with Dan last week, and it's insane, it feels like it was forever ago, is this level. Oh, it's not 73, it's this level right here. Oh, I hate how this works on TradingView. There we go, 73,777. Let me just make the chart super duper clean. This level is crucial support for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin loses this level up here at about 76,000, comes down here to 73,777 and bounces off of it, we're good. We're all right. This is like the max bid range right here. This is where I expect a lot of bulls to be buying a lot, even on this dump right now, despite how bad things feel. If this level, this new support level right here, is broken today or this week at 76,606, then we only have a couple of percent left to go. And this is it. This is our last line of resort. If Bitcoin loses this, then I have to completely change my outlook for the market and where we're going and all that fun stuff. So I just want to open this video up with some simple things. The good news is that right now, as of the filming of this video, the price of BTC has not put in a lower low. This is a great sign. I don't want to see it put in a lower low, just like a lot of you don't either. But if we don't bounce off of 76,606, the last level to watch is 73,777. And if that level does not hold, expect another video with not such an optimistic face and trying to figure out how to make sense of what's happening and all of that. Now, the reality of what we're seeing right now is a short-term panic-filled response to something that's already been told, or rather already been shared with us months ago. Trump was very clear about tariffs. He's very clear about how he wants to fix the economy in the United States, tariffs being that main driving force. Now, the market is very, very late, as always, to respond to this. The unfortunate part about being late to responding to it is that we're seeing an extreme heightened sense of fear across the board. Yet Bitcoin remained pretty much stable, which is ridiculous. And for those of you that are wondering, wait, so you're the same guy last week that literally just made this video, Bitcoin to 94K. I still think it's possible. As crazy as it sounds, I still think that Bitcoin has a chance to pump. And the reason for that is exactly what's happening in the market. So I want to focus and pivot away from crypto, and I'm going to come back to all these things because I want to look at the stock market right now. S&P Futures have absolutely puked since last Wednesday. From Wednesday's open here, they have fallen so far 13% and they continue to tumble lower and lower. I've seen some accounts on X talking about Black Monday all over again, talking about the stock market crashing, saying like this is worse than COVID, all this stuff. Now, the best indication of that is going to be the VIX. And to be honest, the VIX isn't that far off. We had this rejection zone that we've been watching for a while, and we could be generous to say the rejection zone goes up this high to like 38. But the reality is that the VIX at 45.30 is amazing, mainly because moving up one day 50% shows an extreme increase in volatility and fear. Of course, that's what the VIX shows us. But the main thing that I'm focusing on is that the higher we go, the greater chance we have of it being over. And this is why I'm looking at this market right now and this dump that we're seeing and the exaggerated response to everything that's happening. Like, this is bad. We knew it was coming. It feels to me like we could be nearing the end of it, as ridiculous as that might sound to many of you. So here's why. The VIX could continue to go up higher and higher. The highest it was around here at about 84, and this is back during the COVID crash, like I said. Now, I think it makes a lot of sense to focus on the VIX and its behavior during this extremely volatile time. Now, we saw the VIX continue from February 25th, and it was a slow increase all the way up to 85, an increase of 284%. As it moved higher, there were plenty of pullbacks. But the main thing is that once we topped out, we started to see bearish reversal signals like TBT bearish divergence. This is the first thing I'm going to be watching and waiting for. Now, this increase was also preceded by TBO breakouts on the daily. Now, not a perfect breakout cluster in that they're all three in a row, but they did happen. So how does that compare with today? Well, today we're not seeing anything like that. We are seeing a similar gap from Wednesday to Thursday. The breakouts happened at the beginning of March, early beginning of March, but after that, there was a big drop. So I'm not seeing like an exact correlation to like, okay, yeah, this is definitely going to happen and it's definitely going to repeat. But what I'm very confident of is that we will see Monday's open of the stock market be lower. We will see the VIX most likely at about 62 or so. Now, the question is like, how much more pain will there be? And this is a very, very, very fast and very violent drop. Anytime we see any market shoot up too high, too fast, we know that it's temporarily overbought. It's a pump and dump. Anytime a market dumps too low, too fast, it's temporarily oversold. And we see it correct. For example, although this probably is not looking so great today, but Kava actually had a weird pump and dump effect last week on Tuesday. Nice April Fool's joke, where it lost in one day 21%. You can clearly see TBO support right here. And after that major sell-off, eventually we've seen the price return back up higher. Now, isn't it weird that when the market is dumping, Kava is up 1%? You're going to see lots of coins just like this. And I know you're not going to want me to talk about it, but Fartcoin is actually holding up better than a lot of the market is. Tron is holding up better than a lot of the market is, although it fell yesterday, gasped 3%. That's nothing. So there will always be anomalies in crypto because crypto is a low volume oddity all of its own. But looking at the wider markets, the TradFi global markets, the fact that the VIX is up 45.3, I expect it to be up a lot higher. Now, we're going to be watching for topping signals. A topping signal will be one of these TBT bearish divergence, or it will be a long upper wick like this. And we're going to have to wait a couple days to see when that will be. The other thing that I'm watching, aside from S&P Futures absolutely getting crushed, is on the weekly time frame. This is something that I've been telling people in the Better Traders Club to be extremely cautious and careful of. The main thing is right here with the TBO. So you can see we have these blue dots right here, TBO closed long on the weekly. We can see these pink triangles here and then this red tab, pink triangles here, red tab. We saw 4 of these red tabs. This is TBT bearish divergence clusters. Literally the same setup that we saw back in November 2021, except we're seeing a much greater and much more negative market reaction after this setup. But the setup was there. We also saw on-balance volume topping out, and now we're looking at weekly RSI starting out, actually it closed at 15. This is a very strong bearish chart. Could things get worse? Well, if we've learned anything from these momentary crashes, is that yes, they can get worse, but if we're already seeing an exaggerated sell-off, just like we're seeing right now, and I am emphasizing the word exaggerated, we will see the market pivot quickly. And I don't think that President Trump really wants to tank the market this bad, but it is going to force the Fed to have an emergency meeting to decide, are we going to switch from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing? And that will reverse this. It'll seem like it was just a bad dream, like it never ever happened. So we have to be cautious and careful not to overreact when the market is panicking, as it clearly is right now in the short term. Now, this is an amazing opportunity, but we also need to be cautious. The other bit of news is that the Nikkei, I just saw a post on X that they have halted trading because of a circuit breaker. This is code language for it's going to get worse. The last crash that we had that was similar to what we're looking at right now was this yen carry trade, or basically the collapse of the Nikkei that happened and folded over 4 days where it lost 20%, finally bottoming out on August 5th. And we saw BTC and everything else absolutely puke with it. Now, the difference between then and now is that this is continued selling, and we're not seeing an end yet. And the end that we're going to be looking for is in regards to volume. We want to see a huge increase in volume and a long lower wick. Obviously, seeing RSI extremely oversold as well will be a great signal. Now, this is something I've been kind of expecting and waiting for, and again, updating people in our Better Traders Club about it. But seriously, this is not a good look for the Nikkei. This is very, very, very bad. But isn't it interesting and ironic at how similar this was to the COVID crash? And we're seeing how this is unfolding. If we look at RSI, weekly RSI was at a low of 9.45, and currently we're at 12.77, eerily similar. So this isn't just a flash crash like we saw on August 5th. This is more of a longer drawdown that we could continue to see the Nikkei go a little bit lower, to be honest. If it loses this range right here where it is, because there is support at about 30,000 or so, especially because of this low, if it loses this, then there's going to be a lot more short-term pain. But eventually, there's going to be so much pain that the banks are going to have to intervene. It just has to. Now, if you've been following my updates, you may have noticed last week that I was shocked at gold's price reaction. I know I'm talking about a lot of majors right now, but in crypto, it's so important that we do pay attention to what's happening in broader markets, which is why I'm spending less time on talking about crypto, more time talking about the majors, because the majors are suffering real bad right now. I feel bad for them because in crypto, this is like nothing. Being down 1% in a day is a gift. Are you kidding me? Gold being down 2% in a day, or 2.5%. This is a drastically oversold chart for gold that just hit an all-time high all the way up here at 31.67. This has to have a lot of gold bugs shaking in the boots. Now, why is gold starting to have a sell-off? Here's what I'm thinking. Not only did gold hit an all-time high, not only do many hedge funds, many countries, many governments, even retail traders, but let's focus more on the hedge funds, they focus on gold to basically prevent their portfolios from having a lot of drawdown. Gold is seen as a flight to safety. Gold is seen as a really resilient and not so volatile asset, precious metal. But when we see gold starting to sell off like this, what I find interesting is the correlation of all of this. Gold is moving up higher and higher. We have fears of tariffs. Tariffs are in place. Now we have countries and leaders of governments calling the White House saying, we're actually not going to charge you guys tariffs. Can you do the same for us, please? Thank you very much. Goodbye. And it's just slowly unfolding in that way. But when I see gold starting to dump like this looks like profit taking to me. It doesn't look like fear. And I'll show you why. If we go back to the chart, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off everything, okay? I want to go back to 2020. It's going to take a little bit of time. Sorry, because I'm on the daily time frame. Just give me a quick second. So the March 2020 crash, we did see gold take a big, big dump. It was up here at 17 and it lost 14%, which is a massive, massive dump for gold. This was an incredible short-term opportunity to buy into a dump on an already bullish chart. How do I know it's already bullish? Because the TBO slow line which is the slowest moving average, is moving up. Anytime we see charts that are super bullish like this and the price is short-term oversold like this, it is a gift. Where are we right now? Well, we're nowhere close to the fear, the panic that we saw in the COVID crash. And the slow line is still angling up nice and strong. We could still see gold continue to fall, even as low as down here at basically $2,800, another 6% or so. How will this ultimately affect cryptocurrency? Well, I think it's more important to analyze and compare all the fear, the panic that we're seeing in the S&P, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the FANG index, individual stocks. We're seeing it with the VIX. We're seeing it with gold. We're seeing it with global markets. How is crypto reacting? Honestly, it doesn't make sense. Well, it does if you really believe that Bitcoin is everything that it's purported to be, and that it's a store of value, it's digital gold, it's meant to be resilient. Yes, there is a sell-off on a low liquidity day like Sunday, but the fact of the matter is that Bitcoin isn't tanking. Now, volume is not overwhelming, and we could go to other markets. We could see how it's doing in regards to the index, which is looking at aggregate volume across many exchanges. But still, we're not seeing like an overwhelming demand, or rather, an overwhelming sign of fear. It's just a Sunday sell-off. Now, again, Bitcoin is still looking extremely good. It is looking very resilient. It has been oversold for a very, very long time. The TBO slow line continues to point up. It is slowly starting to flatten out, but this is a really short-term bearish chart that is extremely oversold. The fact that Bitcoin is not crashing, the fact that it is not anything close to what we saw in the COVID crash is honestly mind-boggling. If we go back to the COVID crash back here in March 12th, one day Bitcoin fell 39% open to close, but from wick to wick, one day is negative 44%. Over 2 days, lost half its value. You guys that are new, I understand that the markets are really, really shaky right now and TradFi looks really scary. Please stop comparing this market right now to the COVID crash. You don't know what you're talking about. You just don't. The COVID crash was devastating, but it also presented an incredible short-term opportunity to buy everything on a dip. This only happens when you keep some capital on the side. I've already made tons of videos talking about how I trade, why I use DCA, why I don't go all in, why I keep funds on the side to buy emergency situations just like this. Because buying Bitcoin sub $5,000 is a massive gift, given the fact that it's now even at $78,000. So comparing global market reactions to what's been unfolding over the last 4-5 days. When we look at everything, all of the fear, all the panic, all of the selling, and then we look at Bitcoin, can we not just for a second appreciate the fact that Bitcoin is literally not dumping at all? It had a 6% drop on a low liquidity day like Sunday. I'm not really worried. Now, I know that the thumbnail probably got you freaked out. I know the intro probably got you freaked out. I know this idea of these support levels probably got you freaked out. But the reality, for some strange reason, entities keep buying Bitcoin. They're looking at this as an opportunity. We're seeing a lot of instability in global markets, something that Bitcoin was designed to be a hedge against. Now, let me talk about some short-term targets for you. And let me talk about a couple of other things, okay? For one, our short-term target will continue to be the TBO fast line on the daily time frame. Currently, it's at $83,313 or so. It's this pink line right here. I do not expect the price of Bitcoin just to pump straight up 7% today. That would be foolish. But similar to what we saw back over here, this Sunday on March 9th to Monday on the 10th, we saw a reverse pump on the 11th. We saw the price eventually come back up and it hits right there, the TBO fast line. Going to the weekly time frame, yet again, because this is always a good idea to zoom out and look at the weekly time frame. Where is the TBO fast line? It keeps going lower and lower, but it's at $86,000. That is a really nice increase from our current price of around 10%. Again, 100% feasible. My target of 94K from where we are right now, as silly and ridiculous as it sounds, how could you possibly expect a 20% increase? Well, if the Fed is actually going to seriously consider everything that's happening right now and have an emergency rate cut that will quickly change the markets. Bitcoin will benefit, but not only Bitcoin, but all world currencies, all world assets, all that fun stuff. It will absolutely change everything. And I'm kind of banking on that scenario to play out. Now, I understand that this is a longer video. We're going way more in depth, but the reality is that there is so much more information that's being shared in the Coin Bureau Discord server. And you can join that by clicking the link here for the Coin Bureau deals and join the club. When you join the club, you get access to tons of valuable insights and information from Guy, from Nick, from Dan. It's awesome. I'm a part of the server as well. There's lots of great stuff. And when you're here on the deals page, you can also sign up for exchanges like Bybit, exchanges like Binance, exchanges like CoinCatch, which I use because it's a KYC free exchange that does everything by the book. It's 100% legal. And you can get lots of bonuses when you sign up with our specific links. Plus, there's also a link to join the Better Traders course, 15 Minutes to Financial Freedom, where I teach you how to handle markets just like this. Everyone that's taking this course, you should know how to have your portfolio allocated appropriately. You should know how to react in these situations. And you will also know by taking this course that there will be charts that defy and buck the trend 100%. Now, the main thing I need you to understand right now about the markets is that the pain isn't over, but I really believe that we're getting close to the end. The fact that TradFi, again, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, gold, the Nikkei, world, like everything in TradFi is absolutely panicking and Bitcoin is resilient. There's something weird cooking right now, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I know that this is a very fearful situation to be in, but you guys have to recognize this for what it is. It's an opportunity. Now, what are you going to do with this opportunity? And if you're out of funds and you're in a position, you can't do anything, do me a favor. I have a journal right there, the Better Traders Journal. It's what we talk about in our courses. But even if you don't, open up a fresh journal, get a piece of paper, and write down what's happening in the market. Write down how are you feeling, write down how you're reacting, write down your decisions, all this stuff, and keep it close by. Days like today, dumps like this, periods like this, these are amazingly powerful and transformative periods that will really help you to become better traders. Is exactly what we talk about on my channel, on the Better Traders courses, and here as well on Coin Bureau Trading. You have to understand that if you don't write any of this stuff down, if you don't remember how you felt, if you don't remember or remind yourself periodically of what you went through, it's not going to be beneficial at all. You won't have anything to show for it. So it's really up to you now. How are you going to respond to this situation? How are you going to remember it? And how are you going to improve yourself as a trader moving on? Let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments down below. Until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.